This is the kind of night that England used to lose. A brilliant half an hour, two goals to the good through Jude Bellingham, and then everything that could go against them went against them. A goal back before the break, couple of misses from Mexico, a straight red card just after the second half starts, and then a full hour to survive inside a howling Azteca with 10 men. And yet, they are the ones through to the quarterfinal, riding that storm. They took their one big chance from the spot through Kane, and then they defended like their lives depended on it. Mexico will feel they deserved something from this, and on chances created in the second half, they probably did. But England found a way, and finding a way is exactly what this team has been criticized for not doing. So let us get into it. Tuchel went with a 4-3-3, but the detail that mattered was Bellingham playing as the most advanced of the three midfielders, with Rice and Anderson sitting as a double pivot underneath him. The whole point of that was control. Tuchel wanted England to build calmly through Pickford, and the 2-6s slow the tempo down, take the sting out of the crowd, and then let Bellingham drive into a space between Mexico's midfield and defense. Kane led the line with Saka and Gordon wide, and notably neither Madueke nor Rashford started, which told you England were prioritizing legs and structure over raw attacking firepower. Aguirre's Mexico were set up to do the opposite of control. They pressed in the middle third, they tried to force England backwards, and everything they had was built around winning the ball high and springing Quinones and Alvarado into the space before England's backline could get settled. It was a plan that had toned through more static midfields earlier in the tournament. The problem, and this is the whole story of the first half, is that Rice, Bellingham, and Kane are all very good at receiving under pressure and playing through a press rather than panicking and going long. When you look at it, how England played through Mexico in their first half, it's a lovely bit of walk. Rice and Anderson held the base. They stayed on opposite sides of the pivot, so there was always an angle, and that let Bellingham drop in, receive on the half turn, and face forward. Once he is facing forward with a running start, he is one of the most dangerous players in the world. And Mexico simply could not lay a glove on him in those 20 minutes before the break. Every time they committed men to press, England slipped a pass into Bellingham between the lines, and the whole Mexican shape had to scramble back. The opener was a reward for that patience. Saka combined on the right, the move worked with the way to the byline, and the cutback found Bellingham arriving late beyond the Mexican pivot. That is the run he makes better than almost anyone, timing it so that he is coming onto the ball as the defenders are watching it. And the finish was clean. 1-0, and you could feel the Azteca tighten up a little. Just 5 minutes later, and he had his second. And this one was even better in terms of what it said about the game plan. Rice won the ball back in midfield, which is the whole reason he plays the role, and immediately slid Bellingham in behind. Bellingham took a touch to steady himself and beat Rangel low. 2-0 inside 40 minutes. England were purring, and at that stage, you would have had bet the house on a comfortable evening. 4 minutes after going 2 down, Mexico got the goal that changed the temperature of the whole match. Alvarado stood a cross up from the right, and Quinones met it first time with a volley that gave Pickford no chance. The timing of it was everything. If that goes in at 2-0 down early in the second half, it is a consolation. But arriving right before first half time, it sent Mexico in believing and sent the crowd into the break roaring and told England that the job was nowhere near done. Then came the moment that the entire second half hinged on. Just before the hour following a VAR review, Jarrell Quansah was shown a straight red card for a dangerous challenge on Gallardo, and England were down to 10 in a 2-goal game that had already become a 1-goal game. This is where Tuchel earned his money. He abandoned the press entirely, dropped England into a compact 4-4-1 with two banks of four, kept Kane high as the only out ball, and effectively said to Mexico, "You're going to have to break us down because we are not coming forward." It was not pretty, and it was not that the next football anyone signs up to watch for. But it was exactly the right call with 10 men in that call round. And then against the run of the reshuffle, England got the goal that ultimately won them the tie. Gordon, who had been left up top as an outlet, was dragged down by Rangel. And after everything, 10 men and all, England had a penalty. Kane does not miss them, at least not in this World Cup. He sent the keeper the wrong way and made it 3-1. And that goal was worth so much more than one on the scoreboard because it meant Mexico now needed two goals against a side that was going to sit in and make them earn every inch. Of course, it would not be an England knockout game without a nervy ending. So a VAR review sent Mexico a penalty, and they had Raul Jimenez in an ice cold 12 yards to make it 3-2. From there, it was backs to the wall for the last stretch for England. Wave after wave of Mexican pressure came, crosses raining into the box, and England throwing themselves in front of everything. Pickford made himself big when he had to. The two banks held their shape, and somehow the two-goal cushion they had built with 11 men was just enough to see them through with 10. The momentum picture on this one is a proper roller coaster, and it is worth sitting with. England spike hard in that first half window through the two Bellingham goals, and then Quinones drags Mexico back into the right on the whistle. And after the red card, the graph belongs almost entirely to Mexico for the last half hour. Kane's penalty is that one blue spike in the sea of green. What it shows you is that England won this game in two very short bursts, the Bellingham window and the Kane penalty, and then defended for their lives around them. That is knockout football distilled into a single chart. So, what do we make of it? Mexico will be sick because they played the second half like a team who believed. They created enough to get something, and they will point to the fact that they were the better side once it was 11 against 10. But England will not care about any of that because for years the criticism of them has been that they go soft when a game gets ugly and a crowd gets loud. And this was as ugly and as loud as it gets. They lost a man. They lost their two-goal cushion twice over in terms of the momentum, and they still found the composure to win in front of the spot and see it out. Next up is a quarterfinal in Miami against Haaland's Norway, which after today's other result is a genuinely mouth-watering tie. That is Mexico against England put to bed. Thanks for listening. And if you liked what we presented in this analysis, do like this video, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel and hype this video up. I will catch you in on the next one.